Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat, though. I had the Heat in this game. This is a rematch from last year's first round. And from the jump, I wanted to say something about the Heat. They're starting Max Strus at the 4. Last year, Max Strus was starting the playoffs at the 2 with Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam. Tonight, he started at the fucking 4. It's no secret that the Miami Heat have been extremely thin at that spot all season. They brought in Kevin Love. I thought he was going to start, but he's old. He can't move defensively, and he's not the same offensive player he once was. And not just that, they're thin at the 5 too. And in the beginning of the game, the Hawks were all over them. And mind you, the Hawks have had a tumultuous season. Second coach they've gotten fired in the last 3 years. Quinn Snyder's come in, and I think Quinn Snyder's a good coach. I mean, obviously, we're very familiar with him as a Clipper fan. We've played him twice in the playoffs. And it was clearly a point of emphasis for the Hawks to do two things: run and crash the offensive glass. Miami is slow, man. They're slow. Like they play very slow, and they're not very good in the half court. They have 3 shot creators: Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro. Honestly, that's it. Bam Adebayo is inconsistent, and Kyle Lowry is not what he once was, except for tonight. Kyle Lowry was the only player on the Miami Heat in that first half, alongside Caleb Martin, that actually was trying out there, doing the best that they could do. Everybody else was head in the clouds. They completely underestimated the Hawks. Completely underestimated them. And I got to give credit to Trae Young. He was the best player on the floor in this game, and he set the tone immediately in the pick and roll. One thing that was interesting about the Hawks, the Heat last year, is they were really switch heavy in that starting lineup. Really switch heavy. What they did is they switched everything, even with Bam guarding Trae, and usually they would, have Lowry tag out and guard, when he was switched onto a big, tag out and go to the wing, and they'd have somebody come sink in. And all they do is completely load up off Trae, force him to make a play, cut off every single one of his driving lanes. So all he could do is just shoot a 3 contested. And it worked. He didn't do anything. They attacked him on defense. He just got bullied. The physicality was crazy. But in this game, they went with Bam dropping. I don't know exactly why. I think without PJ Tucker, their defense isn't as good. But they went with Bam dropping. And when you drop against Trae Young, he can get in the lane and hit the floaters. But the thing about the Hawks, and I think this is what their strategy was, is DeAndre Hunter has had a not so great year from 3, and John Collins has had a putrid year from 3. So DeAndre Hunter is shooting 35% from 3. John Collins is shooting, I believe, 31% from 3. No, 29. So that was their strategy. But the thing is, and Dejounte Murray, he's not the best catch and shoot 3-point guy. He's shooting only 34%. So I think the strategy was just take away Trae Young, take away Capella on the lob. Let's force them to shoot 3s. But they were making them in the beginning. So then that forced them to adjust a little bit, try to stay home, and Trae Young was cooking. And then, so the Hawks, after 1, led 36-27. But I also think the Heat offensively were shooting themselves in the foot, because Bam and Jimmy Butler were missing chippy after chippy after chippy. It was insane. Bam Adebayo was missing shots like right around the rim. Jimmy Butler was missing layups. He was turning the ball over. It was just weird. It was very out of character for Jimmy Butler. Bam, I've seen that before, but this is supposed to be playoff Jimmy Butler. And he was just out of sorts in the first half. I also think he was going up weak at the rim. One thing that Jimmy does such a good job of is he'll jump stop and pump fake, and he takes advantage of all these undisciplined ass defenders that jump for every single one of his fakes. Quinn Snyder talked about it in one of those post-quarter interviews, and he said the main thing about keeping Jimmy off the foul line is don't go for his shot fakes. The only person on that Hawks team that I saw not go for his shot fake was John Collins at one point in this game. But Capella and Okongwu did such a good job staying disciplined, though, around the rim. They were blocking everything. There was one stretch where Jimmy got 3 straight shots blocked because he was pump faking. And instead of jumping right into the chest of the defender, he was pump faking and trying to go around, do these little leaners off the glass. And Capella was smacking that shit. And the Hawks bench was the massive difference maker in this game. They have a 9-man rotation now, and it looks pretty good. Bogdan Bogdanovic, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, shout out to USC, and of course, I shouldn't say of course, but Saddiq Bey, who came over in that midseason trade with the Pistons. So Saddiq Bey Jalen Johnson, Big O, and Bogdanovich, they were unbelievable when they came in. Bogdanovich was doing really well in the pick and roll, making plays. You know what he can do. He's an instant offense guy. Coming to hit pull-ups. He can hit the three ball. Although his three ball seemed a little bit off in this game. Yeah, 2 for 8 from three, but 3 for 3 inside the arc. So that tells you exactly what I saw in the eye test. But he made a good impact. Anybody that can come in the game and get you 14 points and, 2 assists. And also he had 2 steals. You'll take that all day. But Jalen Johnson, he did a good job of attacking closeouts, getting offensive rebounds, and showing off his size. I mean, the Hawks, they had way more size than the Heat. The problem with the Heat is they're puny. Outside of Bam, Bam comes out of the game. They put Kevin Love at the 5, guys. Kevin Love at the 5, and you're wondering why they were getting cooked. At the 5? Oh, my God. And you know who's rotating? Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent. These guys are tiny. You're playing Max Strus at the 4, Caleb Martin at the 4, Jimmy Butler at the 4. And you got guys like DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Sadiq Bey. It looks like a massive guy out there against these guys. The Miami Heat, without like that PJ Tucker loss was insanely massive. Insanely massive. Like this Heat team, their role players have regressed, but they are so thin, so thin. It's pretty funny in my opinion. And the Hawks dominated. They dominated the glass. They looked more athletic. So when Love was in, because it was so bad, they went to a 2-3 zone for a couple possessions. And Jalen Johnson attacked the closeouts and was making plays. Onyeka Okongwu was getting a bunch of dump downs. He was rolling to the basket well. He was being found. He was blocking shots. He was everywhere. And Kyle Lowry was the only reason the Heat were in the game. He was getting 2 feet in the paint. He was turning the corner well on pick and rolls. They were attacking Trae relentlessly. Other end, the Hawks were attacking Herro relentlessly, and Herro was getting in foul trouble. And what sucked about that was he was one of the only Heat players that was actually playing well offensively and shooting well from the field, because the Heat were like 38% at halftime shooting the ball. Tyler Herro was like 50% though. He actually balled in terms of his shot attempts, but he probably would have played 40 minutes in this game and only played 35 because he struggled with fouls. But Trae Young, Dejounte Murray, by the way, he was slower in the first half, but his defense is just really good. Like, you're not going to put Dejounte in the action because he's a good defender. He has long arms. He fights over screens, all that. And, it was also tough that DeAndre Hunter was in foul trouble because he started out the game hitting a couple of jump shots. But the Hawks dominating on the offensive glass because the Heat were so small. And when you're going to switch other matchups and Bam gets, brought out of the key, the Jimmies, the Struses, the Martins, the Lowrys, the Herros, these guys are going to be guarding bigger guys and have to box out, and they were failing in every aspect doing so. And it's like you're putting them in a tough spot there. And by the way, like they have Cody Zeller, and they only played him 4 minutes. It was nothing there. Victor Oladipo, who I think was his game 5 that closed out the Hawks last year, he played really well. He's been kind of in and out with injury all year and hasn't really been healthy after that 2018 Indiana season. Only 9 minutes for Herro, only 4 minutes for Zeller, only 3 minutes for Love. So they went 7 deep with Lowry and Martin. And Kyle Lowry, it wasn't just his free throws and getting 2 feet in the paint. His 3-ball was falling too. And the Hawks, though, led 65-50 at the half. But I still felt at that point the Heat were going to win. I just had that confidence in them. And in the third quarter, they came out like a totally different team. And it starts with Jimmy and Bam. Again, Bam Adebayo sometimes has glimmers of post game, a jump hook, a running hook. But much like Anthony Davis, even worse, he's not aggressive at all. He never demands the ball. He just wants to be a pick and roll guy. And, after the game, he said, we got to find ways to get me the ball more. Not every single play do I see Spoelstra calling out a set. You can go ask for the fucking ball. Okay? I'm tired of the excuses with Bam. He's averaging 20 and 10. We said at the beginning of the season that he's taken a little bit of a leap offensively, and now it's regressed. He has to make bigger steps offensively, or he will not be the second best player on a championship team. I still have my doubts kind of about Jimmy being the best player on a championship team because I still think that's the hardest thing to do in basketball, to be that clear-cut man. But last year in the playoffs, it was not Butler's fault they lost at all. He did what he could. He honestly outplayed Jason Tatum in that series. But Bam, he left a lot to be desired at times. The Heat, slow, old, just Kyle Lowry was there playing the best. Trae Young, though, he continued to cook. Some of the passes he was making were fantastic. Sadiq Bey hit 2 threes in the first half. And I talked to, Koo from the host of Locked On Pistons, and he was saying that Bey is like one of the worst defenders he's ever seen in his life. But I'm going to say this. First of all, scenery can change everything, just like we've seen with Russell Westbrook. But you can hide 6'7" a lot easier than you can hide 6'2". And that's why Saddiq Bey was still out there doing okay on defense. Because unlike a Tyler Herro, who's not 6'2", or a Trae Young, who, by the way, Trae Young was getting attacked relentlessly, and they were getting a lot of success, by the way. Herro was getting buckets. They were getting good looks. Max Strus finally hit a three. But Trae Young is doing so many good things offensively that it's balancing out. That's the whole thing with guys like that. If you're going to get attacked on defense, you have to be great offensively. Trae Young is exceptional, and he's one of the best pick and roll players that I've ever seen, honestly, pick and roll players. And I think that people are starting to become a little too accustomed to what Trae Young does. I think we've started taking for granted a little bit. I know he's not the most aesthetically pleasing player to everybody. A lot of people don't like his foul baiting stuff. And I think this was a perfect example of how Trae Young needs to play. It wasn't too much foul baiting. He still got to the line. He didn't force it. I think he got everybody involved. I think he could have gotten Dejounte a little bit more touches at times. But Dejounte also needs to not settle. He was taking too many pull-up jumpers in the beginning, but as the game went on, you saw exactly why they brought Dejounte Murray into this team. Miami made a push. Jimmy was getting going. He had a good third quarter. Herro had a good third quarter. Started to make some threes, started to make some mid-ranges. The Heat outscored the Hawks by 2 in the third, 28-26. They got it down to 5, but I think this is a sign of a good team. And I think the Hawks, when they play like this, are absolutely a good team. You're up by a lot. You went up by 24 points. The Heat closed the gap at halftime. But the home team is going to make a push. The crowd's going to get involved. And by the way, Miami Heat crowd, second best tonight. Lakers crowd was much better. The Heat fans, and obviously that was part of it. Part of that was because, they gave them nothing to cheer about. But the the Heat crowd was dormant in this game, dormant for most of it. And only in the third quarter they were getting going. But the Hawks did a great job of answering back that run. Trae Young and Dejounte Murray stagger in that second, after one of them comes out. And I thought that Dejounte Murray did a good job of getting to his spots in that fourth quarter, getting 2 feet in the paint, making those, all he needs is 2 feet in the paint, rise and pull. Get into that in-between game. That's where Dejounte Murray is fantastic. Get into the in-between game, get to your pull-up, get to the rim. Don't settle for jumpers beyond the foul line, beyond, the 18-foot circle. You got to keep getting 2 feet in the paint. And one thing I found really interesting in this game is that the person that I said the Herro that the Hawks were going at, the person they were going at even more than Herro, that last year was actually a decent defender, even though he was targeted at times, only at times when he was playing with other great defenders, was Max Strus. Max Strus was getting abused. Dejounte scored on him one-on-one. Trae got around him one-on-one. John Collins scored on him in the post. And John Collins, for all his criticism he gets from Hawks fans, I think he needs to change the scenery to be fed the ball and see if he actually has a little mid-post game, a little turn-and-face game in the mid-range area, And he shows glimpses every time I watch him. And then the second half was no different. He had a nice little turnaround over the right shoulder, had a nice little jump hook. John Collins, Trae Young, Dejounte Murray, these guys did a great job of answering the run. But the main story of this game, as always in the playoffs, and it's really ironic that it comes against the Miami Heat, whose president coined the phrase, no rebounds, no rings. If you can not get stops and rebounds, you will not win anything. The Hawks dominated the offensive glass, dominated. Clint Capella was looking like fucking Zelmo Beatty out there. If you don't know who that is, please look him up. Might be the most underrated player in history of basketball. Clint Capella was everywhere. Onyeka Okongwu was everywhere. Other guys were chipping in and getting rebounds. The Heat, they just couldn't make enough shots. Kyle Lowry was trying hard. He was hitting everything coming off screens for threes, like whether it be flare screens or curls. He was knocking shit down. And they were getting Trae Young involved in the action. But the whole fourth quarter, Herro was getting targeted, and the Hawks were getting good stuff. And the rebounds ultimately were the difference. The Hawks withstand the push. They win it 116-105, getting their sweetest revenge over the Miami Heat And in my opinion, you can argue that Capella or Okongwu, probably Capella because he had 21 rebounds. But in my opinion, the player of the game, Trae Young, he was shining brighter than Jimmy. He dictated the pace of this game from start to finish. He made good reads. And I just thought he kept his poise. And considering, the Ringer just released something about, the front office is considering trading, willing to trade him. He kept his poise. He showed up. He got the job done, and he won his third consecutive playing game. And the Hawks are headed back to the playoffs for the third straight time in the Clint Capella era. Let's read the lines. By the way, so for the Miami Heat, they're old. They're slow. What could they have done differently? Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo played like shit. Let's talk about it. Atlanta, they're bench players. Oh my God, amazing. When every single one of your bench players is in double figures, you know you've done something right. 53 bench points for the Hawks. 53 bench points. That's fantastic. 14 minutes for Jalen Johnson. He had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. And I would like to think that Nate McMillan wasn't playing him that much because I don't remember him playing this much. I did watch him play live against the Clippers, and in the vlog, he's there. But this tells me that he was playing more, and he played great. He was awesome. Huge putback dunk with one hand, by the way, in the second half. 10 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals on 5 for 8 shooting in just 14 minutes. That's insane production. 20 minutes for the big O. For Oscar, the great Oscar Robertson. Please forgive me for saying that. Double O. Onyeka Okongwu O squared. 12 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 4 blocks on 5 for 6 shooting in 20 minutes. He was amazing. And I think he's a really good player. I know a lot of Hawks fans kind of want to look forward to him starting in the future. I still think Capella's a good player, though. But Hawks Fan TV, my good man, Hawksman TV, I hope to get him on to preview the series against Boston. He was hosting the space after the game, talking his shit, as he should. And one of the people on there was saying that we got the best backup center in the league. So you let me know. Is Onyeka Okongwu the best backup center in NBA? I think it was, yeah, and I'm just going to keep going. Then the other 2 bench players, Bogdanovich, 14 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds on 5 for 11 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3 in 26 minutes. Thought he was really good. He was the highest plus-minus of any Hawk with plus 10. Saddiq Bey shot the second most shot attempts of any Hawk, 17 points and 6 boards, but 17 points. I mean, 7 for 17 from the field. He wasn't very efficient from 3, shooting only 33%, 3 for 9. And he played 33 minutes because DeAndre Hunter was in foul trouble. But if you get 17 points off the bench from Saddiq Bey, you'll take that all day. And the starters, DeAndre Hunter only played 23 minutes, 6 points, 6 boards on 2 of 9 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3. I think those 6 points may have all come in the first quarter. John Collins also only played 22 minutes, 10 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, also had 4 fouls, 4 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from deep. So again, when he gets the ball in a go-to situation inside the arc, he looks a lot better. When he's just a pick and pop big, I don't like him. But John Collins did a good job with the glass. 3 offensive rebounds in this game. But speaking of offensive rebounds, 8 of them from Clint Capella, 4 of them from Saddiq Bey, 3 from Jalen Johnson, but 8 offensive rebounds, 21 rebounds overall to go along, which is 4 points, 2 blocks. Clint Capella affected so many shots too. And it's not just the blocks, it's how many shots you affect. And Clint Capella did that amazingly. For the Heat, who embarrassed themselves in this game. And by the way, the Hawks shot 16 for 27 from the foul line. They shot terribly from the foul line. And Clint Capella was a part of that. 0 for 4. And they looked like he had gotten worse at shooting free throws. Yeah. John Collins, 1 for 3. But anyway, the Heat. Oladipo played 9 minutes and got a donut. 1 shot attempt. Cody Keller, 4 minutes. Yurtseven or this Highsmith character that I've seen get minutes lately, Haywood Highsmith, didn't go to either of them. But Haywood Highsmith's 6'4", so it doesn't matter with the bigs. So you wouldn't expect him to play. But yeah, the Heat have a serious problem. They have 1 center that's playable, and they have no 4s that are playable, it seems. That's a huge issue. Your front court is so weak against the team that had athletes. So we'll see if the Heat can beat who are they going to play? Toronto or Chicago. If they play Toronto, they're in serious trouble. With how big they are, they're in serious trouble. This Miami team, I can see it now. I can see exactly now. That's crazy that one player makes that much of a difference. And he's not even having that great of a season to me with at least statistically with Philly, but he's probably doing things I don't see because PJ Tucker is one of those guys that he does things that don't go on the stat sheet. The guys that guard the best players on other teams, they're invaluable. Yeah, that was even Dwayne Dedmon was better than this. Like to me, seriously, even Dwayne Dedmon was better. But the Heat, yeah, Cody Zeller 4 minutes, 2 points. Kevin Love 3 minutes, 2 points. He was just bleeding points when he was in. Caleb Martin needed him to hit one of those threes. He was 0 for 2 from deep, 0 for 3 overall, had a donut, but he was the only one that was even doing anything on Trae Young, picking him up full court, just trying his best. It wasn't his fault that they were getting torched by him to me. It's just very hard to guard those pick and rolls with Trae Young, dude. He's slick. Max Strus, 1 for 5 from the field. All his shots were threes. 3 points is just not good enough. Gabe Vincent exited the game with an injury. I hope he's okay. 6 points for him, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. On 2 for 6 from the field. All his shots were threes, so a combined 9 points from Vincent and Strus. It's not going to get it done. Lowry, though, had his season high. 33 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, and 0 turnovers. He was incredible in this game. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. 11 for 16 from the field. He's still too small defensively, though, just not the defender he once was. 6 for 9 from deep, 66%. He was just on one. 5 for 5 from the line. What a performance by Lowry. And then the big 3 for the Heat. Tyler Herro. I thought he did what you wanted him to do. His defense is not going to be very good, but I think Strus's was worse. 26 points and 6 boards for Herro, 2 steals as well on 12 for 23 shooting, so very efficient, but 2 for 9 from 3 and did not get to the line. So not great in that respect. Bam Adebayo, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. I think defensively, he turned it up in the second half, helping out at the right time, getting a couple of steals, blocking some shots, switching on to Trae Young and doing a little bit better. But overall, he needs to be way more aggressive offensively. 12 points is a joke, and 12 shot attempts is also a joke. Jimmy Butler, I just think it was just a bad game for him. He'll bounce back. If he plays 2 bad home games in a row, that'd be bad. But 21 points, 4 boards, 9 assists, 2 steals and a block. Those don't sound too bad, but 21 points, it's under his season average, and Jimmy Butler always increases his average in the playoffs. 6 for 19 from the field is under 33%, so that's pretty shitty. And then 9 for 11 from the line. He's always going to get to the line. 38 minutes of play. It's a stars league. You saw it in the last game. When the Lakers had the best 2 players in the game, that's why they won. Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards shit the bed at the end. Anthony Davis and LeBron are really good, and Trae Young was better than Bam or Jimmy in this game, and they won. Did I say Dejounte Murray's stat line? I didn't even do Trae Young and Dejounte Murray like an idiot. Dejounte Murray, he started out 3 for 11, 4 for 5 to end the game. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 for 16 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3 in 37 minutes. Did exactly what you needed him to do. Trae Young, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He still turned the ball over 5 times, so you want to limit that. But 25, 8, and 7 on 8 for 18 shooting. The only thing is he was 1 for 8 from 3. I think some of those threes are just too deep. I know he makes them, but I think he should only take some of those when he's in rhythm. Some of them are just unnecessary to me. But yeah, 24% from 3 for the Hawks, and they still won. That's because they dominated on the offensive glass. 22 offensive rebounds for the Heat. I'm sorry, for the Hawks. 6 for the Heat, and second chance points were, I'm pretty sure they had at least 25. They don't have second chance points on ESPN for whatever reason, but they had at least 25 second chance points. It was terrible. For Miami, just absolutely terrible. And this is the thing, when the Hawks play like this, they're a good team, a team that you expected to take a step up this season with Dejounte Murray. But now you're basically in the same spot you were last year, playing against the team that many are picking to win the championship. More people are picking the Celtics this year to win the championship than the Heat last year. The Heat Hawks have a tough series on their hands. I got the Celtics in 5. And I think with Quinn Snyder next year, they can build. We'll see what happens with John Collins and all that. But 25, 8, and 7 on 8 for 18 shooting and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Trae Young, have yourself a night. You did it. You were the man. Miami now has to play against the winner of Toronto and Chicago again. So Miami and Milwaukee, 2021 rematch, 2020 rematch, part 3. It's looking like it. That's it for me tonight, guys. Though a 1 hour and 10-minute episode for the first 2 playing games. That's going to need to change. I went way too in depth. I just try to do my best to give you as much content as you need, and also just try to cover everything. I want to cover everything, every strategic decision, every performance of a player, everything. But yeah, doing 2 games, gonna have to do less than an hour and 10 minutes. But Laker game went overtime. We went to overtime. It's no big deal. Saturday and Sunday gonna be crazy though. I have 4 games each day to recap. Holy fuck! But tomorrow night, same drill. Toronto and Chicago and New Orleans and OKC. I got New Orleans and I got Toronto winning those games, and I'll be live, and they won't be as long because it's not a Laker live. And when it's the home team, and obviously, you know, the Clippers are my team, but the Lakers are a main team of this channel. It's the Lakers and the Clippers are the only teams we cover consistently anymore. 2021 was a phase, but now it's only Lakers and Clippers. The LA Sports Hub, LA Basketball Hub. So that's just how it is. It's the Lakers and Clippers channel mainly throughout the NBA season. But now it's everybody. We got to talk about everybody. And I get to talk about the Heat, do different things like that. Talk about the Cavs and Knicks. That video is coming out tomorrow. Dallas Mavericks, what went wrong? Check that out. You're not going to get better content, man, in terms of authenticity, in my opinion, anywhere. So please subscribe. Please comment on this video the second it's over because we want to keep the algorithm strong. We are getting really good views lately. Please comment on this video when it ends. Peace. All right. I'm going to delete this part of the video, but because there's so many people in here, or not so many, you guys have been so patient. I'm going to answer your questions. TT Wims says, let's go. Clippers in 4. Showtime Nick says, let's go Lakers. Shooter had me like, that's my dog, like Smokey before AD had a Steve Urkel. Did I do that? Moment. It's all good now, though. Not going to lie, though, and hopefully I'm wrong. I'm not sold the Lakers can make it past the first round. Trae Grimissy says, clip show. TT Wim says, I'll be so happy once we knock out the Suns. Hashtag Clipper Nation. Yeah, man, I would love that too. Hepatitis See You Later says, I don't know how I'm going to calm down and go back to sleep. Game was crazy. Lakers Nation said, I'm going to be realistic. We aren't beating the Grizz. Wow. That performance makes you think that? Max Anderson says, you really think the Clippers have a chance to knock out the Suns? Of course we have a chance, bro. The Suns are not all that. I don't know why you think that. I'm going to give you a preview to explain it. Mavs fan Mikey T says, some amazing games today, man. Entertainment-wise, amazing games. Absolutely. TT Wim says, easy, 4-0 Clips. Renee Zarate says, Ant-Man settled too much at the 3-point line. Absolutely. Damn, Lakers Nation says live is lagging a bit. I have the Ethernet plugged in. Really? I have the Ethernet plugged in and the live was lagging? Edward says, Lakers cashed me out tonight. What's up, man? How's the Wi-Fi been overall, though, in this episode? Good? Jordan Smith says, I know my Lakers was playing the Wolves, but I had no idea they had Curry on their team. Who, Conley? Showtime Nick says, I really don't think it won't be long before ESPN and Fox become a dying breed because people are coming to YouTube now to not get a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I feel you on that, Showtime. Jordan Smith said, this game had me so nervous, bro, and the call at the end, oh my life. Give me a damn break. Oh my Lord. Tyler Lamb said, Kyle Anderson sold. Look, whoa. Loki looking like a lost Mace. Don't disrespect Kyle Anderson like that. Not on this channel, my friend. No way. Call me when Mason Plumlee's getting 4 steals and 4 blocks in a game. Showtime Nick says, people like us work for ourselves. We don't have to answer to a boss, and even if we'd make more money working for ESPN or Fox, I like this platform a lot more because we can tell it how it is. That's facts. BFNS 23 says, Lakers had an ugly last 2 minutes of regular season in OT, but they got the W. They'll clean it up against Memphis. This game punched them in the mouth, and now they'll be ready for anything. Okay. Last 2 minutes of regulation, he says. Tyler Lamb says, are Lakers good performers for early games? That early game shit is like for excuse makers. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. The Lakers don't usually get the early game, though, by the way. They usually get the 6:30 game while we get the early game. Showtime Nick says, I hope you're right. Got to clean it up versus Memphis. BFNS 23 says, too many careless turnovers from the Lakers. Ridiculous. They have to change it up. Well, listen, the Grizzlies defense, Teddy's defense is only better. By the way, I'm also rooting for the Lakers in this series. I hate the Grizzlies. I want the Lakers to lose in the next round. Sorry, Laker fans. With LeBron on the team, that's just the way it's going to be because I don't like his fans. But yeah, it's a lesser of two evils here. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't mention this, but I'll save it for the preview. The Clippers are now the only team in the history of in the active Western Conference that the Lakers haven't played in the playoffs. The Grizzlies were the only other team, and now they're going to play them. They played everyone else except for us, which is hilarious for co-tenants. Jordan Smith said there were some calls by the refs that it didn't like, but oh well. BFNS says refs were terrible tonight. Raid says the game was too stressful. BFNS23 says the Lakers got bailed out by Torian Prince missing that 3 off the stolen inbounds pass. Facts. BFNS23 says, yeah, I feel they need to put Bees back in the starting 5 and bench Reeves again because the bench needs Reeves' production. I like that point. I was thinking about saying that during the game, that Reeves should come off the bench because he's good for the second unit. But the only thing, my concern there is, do you think he's going to change right now? Because I think he wanted this 5 solidified going into the playoffs. But Kelvin Cabrera says that had to be the worst offensive basketball I've ever seen. Hey, man, did you watch the Wolves play the Grizzlies last year? Jordan Smith says Rui was our best bench player, and him and Dennis, but I love the way Rui's shot is looking and his mid-range is butter. Facts. Raid Chowdhury says Lakers in 6 over Memphis. This game basically sums up the Lakers season. Jordan Smith said, one thing I noticed about Vando, he's definitely just out there for defense and rebounding, but I truly think he should shoot more threes. I feel you on that too. Ham says, BFNS23 says Ham needs to put 80 in better spots to succeed. Excuses. Not really. I think a lot of it's just he needs to fucking demand the ball. Ham lets them run on offense a lot. The show says, fuck with Cat. You have a ton of mismatches in the paint. The Wolves and Cat never capitalized on it. Okay, it's German fan. I don't speak German, though, sadly. But Reggie, support. That's French, isn't it? Jordan Smith says, as a Lakers fan, I'd rather re-sign Dennis than Troy Brown. Absolutely. BFNS23 says, Lakers have to re-sign Reeves, Rui, Vanderbilt, and Schroeder with Brown and AD. Everyone else can go. My boy Bonson says, T-Wolves threw it away. Jordan Smith said, the Lakers crowd was lit tonight. I wish Kobe was there. He would have loved it. LA versus the world, baby. TT Wim said, Lakers played well. I don't think they did. Splash and Skills 37 says, season made. Season made? Really? Of a play-in win? Happy as fuck. All the motherfuckers say we wouldn't make it, and we made it. Suck it, haters. Okay. Yeah, I feel there were people that said that. But that should not be the expectation. I had you guys finishing 9th. I didn't predict playing. I said it was all dependent on who you played. So technically, if my prediction had come true and it would have been Blazers versus Lakers in a playing game, Lakers being the 9th seed, I would have had the Lakers beating them at home. And then it would be my prediction before the season was Pelicans and Wolves, which is going to be the game, I think, Pelicans and Wolves, after the Pelicans beat the Thunder. But I would have gone with the Pelicans beating that. I'm sorry, I would have gone with the Lakers beating the Wolves in Minnesota. So Lakers would have made the playoffs anyway in my predictions. Ilyas Almaty says Cat just gave up at the end. He wasn't even calling for the ball, just standing around doing nothing. Yeah, Showtime Nick says people talking about Wilt Chamberlain going against little guys. LOL. Imagine what he'd think if he teleported to today. Yeah, it's a joke. Hepatitis See You Later says shout out to J Mac for being at. No, please no J Mac slander on my channel. I get it, he played bad, but don't be calling him ass on my channel, bro. That's like one of my. I looked up to J Mac, like he was a guy that I saw a lot of my game in. First of all, those aren't chucking shots. He was wide open, man. He's got to take those to keep the defense honest. And I haven't seen him make it his whole career. If he misses that, and I mean his whole career, like in college, everything. If he misses it, he misses it, and he missed. He got to make them. JT213 says, time be killing me. Talk your shit. Too many flaws in today's game. Facts. Jordan Smith said, geez, LeBron played 45 minutes. Showtime Nick says, the goaltending call really set me off. It's all good now because we won. And he says, he talked about Samson. I read those comments. Let's see. Yeah, I talked about this. Miami needs a center badly. Capella destroyed them. Warren Chang says, how about Kyle Lowry turning back the clock? Talked about that. Steven says Kyle Lowry kept him in the game, and the Butler and Bam killed it. Hudson Main 87 says Ham's small ball coaching is horrendous, though. He got to play Mo and Tristan the rest of the playoffs. I don't think Mo Bamba's good at the NBA level. I really don't. I've never seen him play well. Tristan Thompson, maybe, for a couple minutes until AD can come back in. It's going to take 38 to 40 minutes from AD every single game. Warren Chang says Capella's the MVP tonight, and he made a huge difference. I feel you. Steven Torres says Bam seems to have regressed this season. I don't agree with that. I don't think the numbers support that either. I think he, if anything, has been the same, not regressed. Ilyas Almaty says Trae has heart. I'll take that little warrior over 7-foot cat anytime. Oh, easily. Hudson Main 87 says I see Jimmy leaving Miami soon. Why? Why? They've given him what if he's the best player on the team. Yeah, they could have done a little bit better job with the roster this season for sure. But I think I wouldn't doubt Miami just because they failed in one offseason. Warren Chang says the Hawks took care of paint defense tonight. They missed Miami. They made Miami miss so much around the rim. Facts. Sub Alexander, he says Miami needs LeBron back. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. You're right. We need to talk about that. Man City 3-0 over Bayern today. 3-0. Inter also taking care of business. So it looks like we're going to have several Serie A teams in the semifinals of the Champions League. Huge game for Chelsea tomorrow against Real Madrid. My Chelsea, who have been playing like shit, obviously. It's been a bad season, but that's all we got left really is the Champions League. Real Madrid for the third straight year. We won one, we lost one. Let's see what happens now. But as far as Man City, man, they came out and killed them. I thought Rodri was amazing. Bayern was such a wreck at the back in the second half. It was crazy. That was the worst game I've ever seen Upamecano play. It was insane. And then Haaland, I mean, goal and assist, typical of him. Bernardo Silva with a great header. You don't see him getting too many goals from his head. And I don't know. It just, the thing about City is you can't get too excited about them in the Champions League until they win the whole thing because they're going to find a way to choke somehow. As much as I would be okay to see them win because them and Chelsea don't really have that historic rivalry and Man City's never won the Champions League. And I think that their team has been so good the last 6 years that you need to cap it off with a Champions League win to just solidify this era, the Pep era at City. But, and they have, 3-0. I didn't expect them to beat Bayern 3-0. That was amazing. And, got to give him credit all the way around. Stones was great. I thought Ake was great. Ederson was great. And listen, Jan Sommer prevented that game from being like 5 or 6-0. That was bad. Bayern got smacked. And I wouldn't count them out yet because I've seen Bayern do crazier things at Allianz. But Man City, they can choke, but I don't think 3 goals. I don't think so. But you just never know with them in the Champions League. Big time win, though. Huge. One step closer to what they've always wanted is that Champions League. Anybody else I'm missing from that game? I thought Grealish was okay. I don't really like Grealish, though. But Mikey T says, who you got in the games tomorrow? And I already answered that. What a ridiculous question. Chargers Super Bowl? I'm a Rams fan. And I've already seen my team win a Super Bowl. What are you talking about, bro? And Alexander, yes. Yeah, thank you for answering, my friend. He's a Rams fan. He's a big Clippers championship without a question. Dude, I want the Clippers championship more than anything in my life that I can't control. Warren Chang says, what's the biggest upset you want to see in the first round? Clippers and Suns. What kind of question is that? Best backup center is Clipper killer Jock Landale. Oh, my God. Michael Bustillo says, I hate for Miami to get embarrassed because that's my team. Okay, I've never seen you in the chat before. Welcome, bro. Says, I hate for Miami to get embarrassed because that's my team, but I hope their eventual early elimination makes some much-needed changes finally happen. We'll see. Warren Chang says, the fact that Kevin Love is still playing in the NBA and DeMarcus Cousins is playing for Puerto Rico is a travesty. I agree with that. Jeremiah Gonzalez says, I think if the Clippers take game 1, they have a chance at winning the series. What if we take game 2 instead? You don't think we got a chance of winning the series? Hit in the head says, I got you. Showtime Knicks is pretty good Urkel impersonation. I don't know about that. Kobe says, what's up, Kobe? I haven't seen you in a while. Says, yo, been studying this whole time. Thank you for the fire recaps to keep me awake. You're the man. Showtime Nick says, how much more do you need to see after last year's playoffs to know KD is not totally unguardable? Fair enough. He's got a better team around him this year. Yo, yeah says, yo, dime. Ryan Chowdhury says, Darian, you rather have the Warriors beat the Lakers? Yeah. What's wrong with I don't. LeBron stands are like number 1 on the shit list, bro. And plus, if the Warriors win, they get annoying. Like, I'm done with them winning, but like, I don't really hear it. Laker fans, I hear it. I'm here in LA. Raid also says, I hear you with LeBron stands, but it's not like Curry's cult is any better. Nah, they are. I think they are a little bit because they promote ball movement and off the ball movement. That's my issue with LeBron is that he promotes the heavy heliocentric ball dominance, like pounding the rock. And also, Curry fans, to me, are less dismissive of history. I think LeBron fans, like, literally hate Michael Jordan because of the comparison, which is just weird. It's just weird. Like, the only people that should hate Michael Jordan are people that grew up in the 90s and got annoyed with the propaganda, or you were a Knicks fan or a Pacers fan or a Jazz fan or something, and he broke your heart. But that's all I have to say about that. Hepatitis C later says, I wonder why the Lakers waited so long to sign Thompson. Could have got him somewhat in game shape and accustomed to the system if we brought him in earlier. It was a panic move, dude. They didn't think they needed him. Renee Zarate says clips in 5. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Curry, by the way, playoff vlogs. Are you kidding? It's going to be so much fun. Anyway, that's it, guys, for me. KP, my guy, he says Wolves missed Nas Reed badly. Hepatitis C later says Pat Riley's obsolete. There are reports that he was sleeping on the trade deadline hours. Hey, let's not knock the Godfather. That's one of my idols here. Okay. I don't know about that whole sleeping bullshit. By the way, yes, all 5 Pacific teams in the playoffs is lit. All 3 LA teams in the playoffs is lit. This is amazing. No Texas teams in the playoffs for the first time either, too. This is amazing. Please comment on the video, guys. I really appreciate this. I wish I could stay here and talk to you longer, but I probably have to record Locked On Clippers for tomorrow as well. I'm going to be live tomorrow night as well. Check out I'm dropping a preview in the daytime tomorrow. Knicks and Cavs. Please check it out. 2 Knicks fans and a Cavs fan. It was amazing. And you got to check out the Mavs video with SJ and Bibbs when you get a chance. No rush on that one, but definitely check it out because we went in depth about everything that went wrong with Dallas. Peace. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this now. It's finally time to talk about some real basketball. None of that load management shit. Let's fucking go. Comment.